You're listening to Lucky Hawk Talks, the show where Lucky Hawk talks. Now here's your host, Lucky Hawk.
Hello and welcome to another classic edition of Lucky Hawk Talks. I'm your host, Lucky Hawk, and today's episode is from June 2014. My guest is Sandy Martin, who has portrayed more than a few self-described crusty and kooky characters, such as Mac's mom from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Napoleon Dynamite's grandma from Napoleon Dynamite. I had the pleasure of speaking with Sandy about her extensive career and uniquely unforgettable characters she's presented to the world. So sit back, listen up, try to learn something. How did you first get into show business?
Well, my aunt took me to my first show ever, which starred Martha Ray, who was a very big comedian back then. And cut to 3 or 4 years later, I was on tour with her. I went into summer stock, and lo and behold, she showed up, and she was, I idolized her. I thought she was a fantastic comedian. So I found a way to work for that company, and they gave me a little role in her Goodbye Charlie, and the rest, I did like 2 or 3 shows with her after that. So thank you, my aunt, for taking me to summer stock shows.
Summer stock used to be a huge way for a lot of actors to get their start, but it seems to have kind of gone away a little bit. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, it is surprising. And I guess, they used to have these big tent shows, and, I remember Judy Garland even was playing Camden County, New Jersey, in a tent that was her pre-Palace tour, which was her last appearance at the Palace. And, they were giant tents with ramps and people in the round. And, I don't know what happened to that. They just sort of went away. Actually, it was a good way for television actors to be seen during the summer when there were hiatus on their shows. Back in that day, we had Bob Cummings, who had his own show, and Arthur Godfrey, and Joan Bennett, and these real old-timers that I guess weren't doing too much of other things, so they always liked to do summer stock.
Mm-hmm. You've been in just countless productions over the years. Does one stand out above the rest as being like your favorite experience?
Well, I have a couple favorites. I used to be the person that you wouldn't recognize from one thing to the next because I was, I guess, versatile enough to trick people. They didn't know who I was from job to job. But finally I got, after Napoleon Dynamite, of course, was the big hot seller, and suddenly I could get into auditions that I couldn't get into previous to that, which is hard to believe since I've been on TV and in films for over 30 years in Los Angeles. But it really opened the door wider, let's put it that way. And then a couple of years after that, I was pleasantly surprised to see that I could have a reoccurring role in a drama as well as a reoccurring role in a comedy. So I like to keep it that way because I don't like to just only do comedy and only do drama. But those 2 shows, and one was HBO's Big Love. I'm sure you've heard of that. Oh, yeah. Have you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other one was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But now, the new trend is to have people come and reoccur, and then they only pay the regulars, which constitute maybe 4 or 5 people on that show, the big bango salaries, and then the reoccurs are reoccurring. But a lot of people are reoccurring now that you would never believe would be in reoccurring roles. So, I was very happy to have that experience on Big Love. I played a freaky Mormon religious woman that went underground is in total drag. and because the only way to be in with the hierarchy of the Mormon church, it's all men. So her brother ran the whole show. So the only way she could get in on the action was to be dressed like a guy. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the most amazing characters I've ever played. I loved every minute of it. I actually was quite sad dyeing up my three-piece suit and my wingtip shoes after 8 seasons of that. And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I mean, I just love those guys, and you can be outrageous on that show, and as long as it's somewhat real, that's all they care about. So now I play the most realistic, disgusting mother in the universe. But somebody's got to do it.
Well, the first thing that I saw you in, that I can remember was Napoleon Dynamite. How did you first become involved on that movie?
Well, the casting director is a guy named Jory Weiss, and he was very generous with me and would bring me in on a lot of indie films because that was his sort of genre. I mean, not that he didn't do other things, but, he did a lot of great little indie films, and he brought me in several times, and, some I got, most of them I did not get, but then he brought me in to meet Jared Hess, the director of Napoleon Dynamite. And I guess because I'm just such a character, he was amused by my interview, and I didn't even have to read for it. He just gave me the role of that grandmother. And then, we all went to Preston, Idaho, and there was a whole bunch of actors that I worked with in the past here and there. John Grice, who played Uncle Rico, and, I had never met John Heder, who played Napoleon Dynamite, but he and the other brother who plays, the two sons, they're both from Preston, Idaho, so of course we never met them, but it was an interesting shoot, bringing in, a bunch of real dyed-in-the-wool character actors from New York City, and then having the other half of the cast be from Preston, Idaho. But everybody got along great, and we made a pretty funny movie, so that's all we cared about. And next week, they are revealing a statue of Napoleon at the 20th Century Fox lot. So we're all there for big publicity day.
That movie was humongous for an independent movie at the time. Did you have any idea that it would get that big? I mean, it still is.
Well, it just was the gift that kept giving. I mean, of course we thought it was fun and funny to make, but the first time we all went to Sundance, and I had been to Sundance a couple other times with pretty big name actors in movies, and however, now I'm going with this little indie film, and I'm sitting there with the cast, and all of a sudden the place went ballistic. I mean, when the movie was over, people were cheering and screaming for us to come and down to the front of the theater and talk to people. I mean, I had never seen anything like that in my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, they seem to like this. So after we gave the little talk in front of the theater, people were chasing us. We had one black SUV that we crammed the whole cast into, and then there were all these other press people just chasing us around at Sundance, and we were just like, we couldn't believe it. We were laughing. We were just like, this is fun, whatever. And then it just took off. I mean, I think it's that really unique language that Napoleon speaks, that he has his own little quirky kind of passions and, colloquialisms that he uses that just caught on like crazy.
No.
But everybody always asks me, well, whatever happened to the parents? Why was it you? And I said, I don't really know on what my backstory is, but the backstory I made up for my character is that my daughter maybe was a ne'er-do-well, and she hit the road with some boyfriend, and I took care of the kids, so I am the parental figure. So that's what I came up with.
Sounds good to me. So, I was a big fan of Napoleon Dynamite, and I'm an even bigger fan of Sonny. How did you come to be on Sonny?
Well, I had a good friend of mine from New York staying with me. His name's Bruce McVitie. He's a wonderful actor. I played his mom in a really important off-Broadway play called Prairie Avenue years ago, and we all remained like family and friends for all these years. And he came out for pilot season, and we were walking in my local park, Elysian Park over here near Silver Lake Echo Park, with my two dogs, and we came across this nice couple, and they started chatting because they knew each other from other days gone by, and all of a sudden this one young guy turned to me and he said, weren't you Grandma in Napoleon Dynamite? And I said, yeah, I was a lucky duck getting that movie. And he said, well, do you think that you could take a look? We have a little series that's going to start up, and looks like we're, going to get it financed. And I said, oh, sure, I'll take a look at anything, Any friend of Bruce is a friend of mine. And that's how I literally got that job, walking my dog. That was Charlie Day.
Oh, okay.
His fiancée, Mary Elizabeth, who's also on the show. So that was just a really great surprise. I mean, I did go in and read, but, he told me later he was excited to get Grandma from Napoleon Dynamite if he could get me. So that was very sweet. And those guys have been fantastic. I mean, sometimes we wish we were on it a little bit more. I mean, but we're going to shoot 2 more shows coming up in the coming summer, so I'm very happy about that, to go back on there and be disgusting. But do you know that have you seen the 8th season DVD?
Have I seen the season DVDs of the show?
Yeah, I mean, do you happen to have seen do you have a copy of the 8th season of It's Always Sunny, the complete season of number 8?
Oh, I don't have up to number 8. I have every other one. I actually got them all for my girlfriend for Christmas, but I don't have 8. So.
I wish you had, because on number 8, as an extra, they have a takeoff, like a little spin-off show of the 2 moms.
Uh-huh.
And it's called Lady House, because it's a takeoff on, Golden Girls, kind of, the wacky version of Golden Girls. And if you get a chance to see Lady House as an extra on the complete season of number 8, I think you'd have a good laugh, because it's pretty funny.
Oh, well, I plan on buying it. We're gonna collect them all, because we just love that show. I mean, it is one of the funniest sitcoms on TV in the last decade. I mean, it really is.
And what strikes your funny bone about it? I mean, why do you think it's so unique?
Well, it's relatable. I mean, it's like kind of like a modern day Cheers. I mean, you see yourself hanging out with these people,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you can just relate to it. But
yeah. Well, ironically, I am from Philadelphia. So that was no stretch for me.
Yeah. Well, how long do you think? I mean, how long do you think that Sonny is just going to keep going? I mean, I hope it goes on for a long, long time. But how long do you personally think it's going to keep going?
Well, I read an article in Variety recently that said that that group of guys, 3 guys, have been given like kind of carte blanche to create new stuff or whatever they want to do on the new FXX channel, which is Fox's comedy channel they're trying to, develop. So I have a feeling these guys might try for something new. I don't really know. I mean, I know that Rob, who plays my son, is always dreaming up good stuff, and he loves to direct. So I don't know how long he's going to be on, continuing with Sonny, but I would hope that they're going to continue for a while because Fox really wants them. That's for sure. There's no end in sight. So I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, personally, Charlie Day now is in Horrible Bosses 1 and 2, and his career is taking off, and I just don't know how long they'll continue. I hope they continue because everybody loves that show, that's for sure. So I just don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I don't think anybody's getting tired of it, but on the other hand, since they are offered whatever they want to do on the FXX channel, we'll see what comes next.
If at the very least, Mac's mom and Charlie's mom should have their own show, I think.
Well, you should write and tell them that. They'll listen to you. I mean, so many people have complained that where are the moms? They love those moms. And so I think that's why they're putting us in a couple more shows. And I even wrote a follow-up to Lady House, another segment of it. And I showed it to them, but they're so busy doing their own show, It's really hard for them to even conceive of doing something else. But we'll see, We'll see. That's their idea of a small spin-off once in a while, having a special like they do on season 8 of Lady House. Mm-hmm. So they might do another one of those. Who knows? I hope they do it because that was really fun. And it was very funny. So we had a really good time.
I guess you're currently working on the new season. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm on hold for most of June. I don't know if I'm going to get one show or two, but rumor has it could be 2. But we'll see. So all my summer vacation plans are out the window. I'm now going to sit around and wait to be Mac's mom again. So I know I'm coming up pretty soon to go back on it. But I've been doing a lot of different stuff recently. I'm knocking wood because I've had all these different shows, one after another. I just finished one the night before last, so that was a movie called Medicine Man. And then prior to that, I was doing Ron Perlman's new show called Hand of God with a major director, this guy named Mark Foster. Mm-hmm. Directed World War Z, Monsters Ball, Kite Runner, Finding Neverland. I mean, what an amazing director to have on a pilot of a new show. So I have a reoccurring role on that. I hope that one goes. It's a nice drama. And then I'm on Playing House every Tuesday night. I'm not on every show, but I'm in like 3 of them. But that seems to be going well there. They picked them up for I think 10 or 12 shows called Playing House. It's on USA, and it's on Tuesday nights, and it's pretty out there. It's these 2 women comedians that have developed the show, and they're really good. So I play the mother-in-law on that, a really crusty old mother-in-law. I seem to be the go-to girl for kooky and crusty when it comes to comedies.
I guess that's a compliment, though, because you do it so well, right?
Well, I'm glad that I'm kind of they broke the mold when I popped out because there's not many women my age that are as how would you describe it, rowdy out there. I get the jokes. And I think it's just because I've been teaching acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts since the 70s, and I'm always around young people. And I don't feel like some old woman at all. I feel like, I got to teach these guys how to act. You have to have a sense of humor, and you got to get the jokes, and you got to get it. And I like new, innovative stuff rather than, only the classics. Mm-hmm. I like new stuff. And I don't mind being more outrageous than other people. I think sometimes I don't get jobs because they go, uh-oh, that was scary.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I get these jobs because they go, well, no, we can't find anybody else that's going to be that outrageous. So it's a catch-22. But on the other hand, I do have a reputation for being a pretty brave actor.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm happy about that.
If you could give one piece of advice to up-and-coming actors, what would it be?
Produce your own stuff. If you're really, really good, at least you have all these avenues to approach. I mean, you can get it on YouTube. You can put it on all these different internet channels and contests and 50 million things. I mean, I produced my own stuff when I was coming up, and there was no internet.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of hard because then you had to get people in the chair in a theater to see your work. But now, all my students that graduate from that school, they're all creating webisodes and this and that, and they're very talented. So that way they're forced to write, they're forced to read, they're forced to direct, they're forced to do a lot of things that most major productions need people that know how to write and direct and act, and I mean, you need all those things these days.
Mm-hmm.
And so at least they have an avenue to pursue here if they have some really clever thing, because that's what those guys did on It's Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
They just created their own thing, and it just caught on like a brush fire. And not that it's easy to be seen, but there's a lot of contests out there, and there's a lot of ways to push.
There you have it, folks. The wonderfully pleasant Sandy Martin. She's still working up a storm. She was in the Disney animated movie Luca recently. She's been in Grey's Anatomy, and of course, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She's still on there. I think that show's going to be on for eternity. If you've enjoyed this episode, please let me know in the comments. Please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you would like access to all of my written interviews from the past, please visit my Amazon authors page at amazon.com/authors/LuckyHawk. It's free if you have Kindle Unlimited. If you don't, it's only 99 cents per volume. I'm Lucky Hawk. That's enough from me. I'll talk to you later. Take care.